How would you rate your chances against a Jonathan Goodluck, Ibrahim Babangida, a Buhari, or even a Nuhu Ribadu, and big names out there that seems to have backings?
I don't know any name that is bigger than mine without sounding modest. As a journalist, as a showbiz impresario, I've come a very long way. At 50, I haven't done too badly. And so when you're talking about big names, about visibility, in fact, I don't know of any Nigerian face that is known better than mine, whether at the high level, the middle, or the low level. For over 20 years, you will have heard my name either from Wasiu, from Obesere, from Sashino Peters, from Ayefele, and the rest of them. There are not many people like that in our society. So that's number one. If you are talking about visibility, I am very visible. If you are talking about the ability to connect to the youth, you and I know that whether on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, I started long ago before any of these leaders knew how to get contractors to come and do these things for them. Okay? Then number three is that I've divided the race into two parts, the right and the left. On the right, number one is Jonathan. He's the president, is the present president and commander-in-chief of Nigeria. So he has access to everything. Next to him is Babangida. He is quite influential, but I don't think he's as influential as he used to be. I would say he has anything to fight with. Jonathan has everything. Next to him will be Buhari. I think he's getting very old now. I also believe that he may not be able to fund his campaign. Number four is Atiku Abubakar. I believe Obasanjo has already wrecked his career, so he may not go far. I hear Ali Uso has come out. He's not very visible. You know, he's always been the best spook Nigeria ever produced. So it's always remained, you know, evasive. I'm not sure if he really wants to run, but I will take the first two. Goodluck Jonathan and Ibrahim Babangida on the right. What is going to happen? My prediction is that if Jonathan gets the PDP ticket, Babangida will pull out. They are determined that they will not support Jonathan. If Babangida gets the ticket, Jonathan is likely to pull out. If he doesn't pull out, he will make sure he frustrates them. So for them now, it's a fight to finish. I don't know how God has done it, but I think it will be to the benefit of the Nigerian people. And
you think you will be the one to take that?
Okay, you just wait. When that happens, there will be such a conflagration, the sort that we have not witnessed in a long time in Nigeria. So attention, naturally, will shift to the left. Those ones are on the right, it will shift to the left. The first person to come out on the left was my humble self. The second was Pastor Chris Okotie. We were expecting Donald Duke, he never arrived. We were expecting Nuhu Ribadu, I think he's about 75% now into the race. I'm not sure if he has fully joined the race. And then so on and so forth. I believe that on the left it will be me and Nuhu. That's my belief. So he's in AC and the Labour Party. So what is likely to happen there? If attention shifts to the left, will be number one, who has the popularity. We both enjoy immense popularity. I believe that I'm ahead because he may be popular with some elites, a bit of students and all that, but you cannot connect to the Babalaro, the Yalata, the Yolobe and all that nationwide. That's number one. Number two is that Dele Momodu has the advantage of what people consider to be my weakness, and that advantage is Ovation. Ovation has been able to establish a network, the sort of which no one has been able to establish since MKO Abiola. In the North today, for the first time, a photographer is able to enter a northern home and take pictures of women and show the beauty of the northerners. And I can tell you, that is why our market in the North is so big. In fact, you will hardly see a wedding now in the North where people are not wearing ashwebi, wearing ashoke. That's how Ovation has contributed to cementing a bond between the North and the South. Number two is that in the North, if the northern elites watch radicals refer to as the oligarchy, if they were to choose between Nuhu, who incidentally I hear is a prince, and Dele Momodu, who is not a prince, you'll be shocked that in terms of the fear in politics, there's always the fear factor, the fear element. Who can we trust not to set the polity ablaze? I believe that more people.
If I'm going to take an interpretation to that, the vibes I'm getting is that with Nuhu Ribadu, the northern oligarchy will be scared of a young man who is going to prosecute them for corruption.
No, he's not going to prosecute them for corruption. He's going to harass them. There's a difference between prosecution and harassment. And I'm very serious about that. When you see my blueprint for corruption, you will see that they will be more effective, but there will be no harassment. We will follow the rule of law to the... See, it's either you want to practice democracy or you want to practice militocracy. I go for democracy. I will not disobey a court order because I will not set a village ablaze because I want to catch a few rats. And for me, corruption is not going to be a matter of pursuing only governors, when in actual fact we should pursue the root cause. The root cause of corruption are not just the governor. We live in a society where everybody is encouraged to be corrupt. If you want to buy a house today, I don't see how anybody who is earning a salary can build a house in Nigeria today unless you are going to build it from the proceeds of corruption or crime. In London, where I've lived since 1995, the house where I live, I had to buy on mortgage. I'm going to encourage our banks when I become president so that people can go for mortgages. Even if you have the money, you can use it to buy a few properties, so you live in one and then you trade with the rest of them. If you want to return to Nigeria now, Kayode, to live, you have to pay 2-3 years rent in advance. We will legislate. No landlord should collect the rent of more than 3 to 6 months maximum. That's what happens where I live in Ghana. So I've had the privilege of living in other countries, and I know there is no place where anybody will force you to pay 2-3 years rent. So that's why people are corrupt. So anybody who is able to pay 3 years rent in advance cannot tell me that he collected his salaries in advance.
Now let me bring you to a particular point. Most of the comments on Sahara Reporters, there's a particular one that actually strikes me. People say, don't mind Dele Momodu, he's just broke. He wants money from donors so that he can recuperate his business.
That's good. Donald Duke was a governor for 8 years. So why is he asking for donation? On the internet, I've seen this. He's been asking for donation. I've not asked, as I speak to you today, there are only 2 donations I've received from people. One was from a friend who gave me 250,000 naira. The other was a guy on the internet. I've not met him today. I can mention his name publicly, Bob Lukoya, who donated a vehicle. Those are the only 2. I've never gone to anybody. I know all the rich people in Nigeria. I've never gone to one.
So where are you getting all these funds to run your campaign?
I'm using my brains to run my campaign. Can't you see where I'm sitting down? Did you see Angas on here? Most presidential candidates, you will see almost 10 PAs, the 10 bodyguards. I go in one car with one assistant and my driver. That's me. I'm a very simple, people don't know me. They take the flamboyance of ovation for Dele Momodu, which is okay. I've told you, showbiz is about make-believe. When you meet Oprah Winfrey, you will think she does not sleep on the bed. It's about the hype. What people have about Dele is, oh, he must be a big man. Some people say I'm a billionaire. Don't I have bank accounts? Can you hide money? I can tell you today, Kayode, of all the aspirants, I'm the only one, and I'm not someone who will not lie that my father-in-law or somebody bought me a house. I don't have a house. I live in a rented house. The only property I have in my life is in London. It's on mortgage. The house where I live in Ghana is on rent. I pay every 3 months. So if I have the money, you think I don't want to live in Ikoyi? When my students are already living in Ikoyi, people are taught in A-level. 28 years ago, they are living in Ikoyi. I manage my resources well. My property and my children. I send them to the best schools that money can. And now I'm able to pay for their school fee. They allow me to pay by direct debit. I have children who have to. I even bought 2 of, when people are taking their children away, I brought 2 of my children back to Nigeria to come and school locally. These were kids who have never lived in Nigeria.
What if we say that you're posturing for appointment? If you make yourself quite noticeable now, then we could be seeing a Dele Momodu Minister for Culture.
If I wanted to do that, I would be PDP. That's why they share everything. I got to Lagos in 1988 at 28 because I couldn't find a job as a teacher. My dream was to be a teacher, marry a teacher, and live happily thereafter. Unfortunately, there was an embargo on appointments and promotions by the military government at the time. I couldn't get a job. So Onuka Badino Yojo, the same Onuka who was in the Guardian, was the one who met me in Ife. He came to cover the Lojo Festival. I was working in an hotel for the Oni of Ife. He saw me and he said, and we were discussing literature. I was talking about Ngugi wa Thiong'o, talking about Ikuyama, talking about all the big names in literature. And he said, what are you doing as an hotel manager? I said, I couldn't get a job. And he said, no. Can you please write an article on the Lojo Festival? That was my first article for the Guardian. It was published by the African Guardian. Thereafter, I started contributing on the opinion pages of the Guardian. I was writing for the Tribune and so on and so forth. And that was how I came to Lagos. In 2 years, I became the highest paid editor in Nigeria. Why? Because an Ife boy, a poor boy, I started my salary on 700 naira a month. When I was writing for the Guardian was paying me 25 naira per article. So I came here, I knew I had to work harder than someone who had a rich father or a rich mother. So I know what I'm talking about. If I wake up today and I say I want to be president and commander-in-chief in Nigeria, it is not because I'm looking for an appointment. If I'm looking for an appointment, I don't need all this rigmarole. Is there any governor I don't know in Nigeria? Is there any minister I don't know in Nigeria? Is there any president I don't know in Africa? In my private capacity, I've been traveling all over Africa, doing my business. I've visited over 60 countries, doing my business, and I've done everything professionally. If you will not see me at press conferences, when people say Dele is hobnobbing, I hate such words. I don't hobnob. I'm too proud as a man, as a human being, of my background, of my integrity. There is not a single rich man in my family. Not one. What we worship in our family is education, good education. And that is why education is one of my priorities when I become the president in Nigeria.
How would you rate Goodluck Jonathan's presidency?
I will rate him alongside PDP. Nothing good can ever come out of PDP. Simple. So if people say I'm looking for appointment, why did I go into PDP? I'm in labor. My father started life as a laborer. That word labor had stuck with me all my life. So if I'm in labor today, I'm only following the tradition of my forebears. And if you look at the part where I come from in Edo, in South Nigeria, you will see that we have produced the best labor leaders. Pa Imodu, Adams Oshiomhole, and the rest of them were all Afemai people. So I'm following that tradition. And in that tradition is the tradition of integrity. I'm not looking for money. If I needed money, I would have made a fortune. I live strictly on my income. I'm not a rich man, and anybody who knows anywhere where my riches are kept, I've never worked in government, the person should come out and tell me.
What will be your message to Nigerians?
My message is that hope is on the way. They shouldn't give up. I've seen that we have suddenly become a country without faith. We go to churches, we pray, we do so much, yet we lack the faith. Everybody says it cannot be done. It is impossible. Nothing is impossible before God. If Jonathan today can be the president of Nigeria, it tells you this time last year, Jonathan would not have dreamt of where he is now. And that is why I told him, I said, look, God has put you here to come and change Nigeria. You cannot change PDP, but you can change Nigeria. There are 4 things a man looks for in politics. The first is power, the second is fame, the third probably is money, and the last is legacy. All the first 3, I believe God has already given Jonathan. The last one, only he can work for it. That's legacy. And that is my mission. It's not an ambition. I have a mission to rescue Nigeria from these doldrums. I have a mission to unite with my people and move our nation forward. Because each time I travel, I feel so sad. I feel so bastardized. I feel like a monkey. The way people look at Nigerians everywhere. But I want to assure you, fellow Nigerians, that given the opportunity, you will have a leader who from the one will be in jeans and t-shirt and march on the streets with the people to clean up the mess. God bless you.
Basharon Dele Momodu, thank you for speaking with the Sahara Reporters.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to First View Luxury Hotel. At First View Luxury Hotel, we offer excellent service. Our rooms have all the necessary facilities to make your stay comfortable and memorable. You will also have access to internet service, breakfast, 24-hour power supply, full air condition, free international calls, free tire pumping service, and free car battery charge. So what are you waiting for? Quickly visit First View Luxury Hotel. We are located at number 1 Adelino Bamishile off Raji Rasaki Road, First Estate, Amuwo, Odofin Festac, Lagos. For more information or reservation, please call us on 080-7578-7135 or 080-9990-0601. You can also take advantage of our online ongoing promo at www.firstviewhotel.com to make your reservation and payment for your favorite room, which attracts a discount rate. Please note, rooms are reserved based on first come, first serve. First View Luxury Hotel. Experience the home of comfort. They come.